If I can address the question on whether because of the focus on technology, we are undermining our GNH values and principles. And I think personally for me, I feel technology is just a tool, and we can use it in a bad way or we can use it in a good way. And if you think about GNH, personally, to me, uh, I feel GNH essentially means balanced development, and I think this was perfectly articulated by His Majesty when he said that GNH essentially means development with values. And I think when we are talking about focusing on technology, essentially we are looking at developments that are happening around the world, and we are taking the necessary steps to make sure that Bhutan is not lagging behind. Of course, when we do that, we need to make sure that we consider, the values of Bhutan, and we make sure that we use technology in the best interest of the Bhutanese people. To give a very brief and quick overview of what we plan to do with Digital DrukYul. So the entire program is a flagship program, a very cross-cutting initiative inspired by His Majesty's numerous speeches on technology and the need for government agencies to work much more collaboratively to be agile, considering the smallness of the country that we are. So just to quickly run through, Digital DrukYul focuses on a number of areas, starting from infrastructure. We are rolling out fiber optics across the country, connecting schools, hospitals, government offices with high-speed fiber optic networks, so that we can actually leverage technology meaningfully. We are also focusing on affordability. We are focusing on ways to actually bring down the cost so that it becomes affordable for the common man, woman. We are also considering the human capabilities that is necessary in the country. And because of that, there is a lot of focus on capability development. We are also looking at regulations and governance, the implementation rather. So we are seeing that we really need to work collectively together, and therefore we're putting in governance mechanisms to ensure that the investments that we do in technology are a collective endeavor rather than siloed initiatives of the ministries. We are also focusing on the missing factors. So one of the things that is missing is essentially the ability to have trust online, and that's why we are establishing a digital identity which will allow us to work on completely end-to-end services. So citizens across the country, irrespective whether you live in the capital or whether you live in a remote village, you will be able to avail services through online means, and it will be legally implementable. Besides that, we are also focusing on some major systems, like for example in the health sector we are talking about implementing electronic patient records for all citizens, and if implementing this system in all the hospitals across the districts and in many of the BHUs. In terms of business, we are talking about end-to-end online clearances for business licensing to improve the ease of doing business. We are also working on transforming education in terms of connecting all the schools so that we can actually move from the traditional face-to-face teaching and learning to a more blended environment where we actually have both face-to-face learning but also leverage virtual learning. So in a nutshell, these are what we will be covering in the Digital DrukYul, and I'm happy to discuss this further. Thank you.